We conclude today chapter 15. Chapter 15, in one word, Ovid. Ovid means to serve, serving in the present tense. And as we learned yesterday, that is in reference to the Beinoni. A tzaddik is called an Eved Hashem, a servant of God, meaning he's got the title. It's already achieved, the service, and therefore he's a servant. What is that service? Dealing with the animal soul, dealing with the negative side that we have, and transforming it. But the Beinoni is constantly engaged because the animal soul, the egotistical, self-directed nature that we have, doesn't go away. Only by the righteous. They don't have that. The perfectly righteous, not any agenda of their own. Totally a mirror reflection of the divine. So, the Beinoni is therefore an Ovid. He is serving in the present tense. Serving what? Dinner? Well, that's what it takes. Serving up the natural inclination that we have to be self-directed of the animal soul and constantly engaged in the battle to overcome it. Then, as we explained yesterday, there is such an individual called a Beinoni also, who has complete mastery. If you recall, I'm sure everybody does recall that the Beinoni has complete mastery over their behavior. Behavior includes actions, our deeds, our communication, speech, and cogitated, willful, meditated thought. Not the original thought that comes into your mind, we don't have control, but that we cogitate willfully a thought that is an inappropriate, negative thought, we're responsible. So the Beinoni has complete mastery over that. But there can be a Beinoni who, they're just by nature the do-gooders, and they don't have a battle with their animal soul. They have an animal soul, they haven't transformed it, but it's so timid. Their nature is such that they're cold to materiality, and just naturally like to learn Torah, naturally like to do good. So they're not a true servant because they have not waged a battle. It just comes naturally to them. And with this, we have an important principle that comes out of this, that the Alter Rebbe says we now can explain what the Talmud says about someone who serves God. And that is in reference to a student back in the times of the Talmudic sages of the Mishnah. They would study 100 times every teachings. So 100 times Tanya, this chapter, they would learn it 100 times. Now, this is the day before the printing shop. This is the time before the oral Torah was written down. Before there was a Mishnah. The Mishnah was written down in the 2nd century by Reb Yehuda Hanassi, by Judah the Prince. Before that, it was all verbally given down from generation to generation. So in order that there should be a guarantee that it should be passed down from generation to generation in a manner that it wouldn't be forgotten, and that there wouldn't be too much debate, at least on the meanings, so it was committed to memory. So everybody in the study hall, you learned this chapter, you learned it 100 times, so you would be committed to memory the exact wording. So the Talmud says that's not someone who serves God. Who is someone who does it 101 times, just one time more. That is someone who is a servant of God. All right? And the Talmud there gives a metaphor for this. Back in the day, when you wanted to travel from one town to the next, so in this particular place, you would rent donkeys to travel and take your goods, your wares. It would cost for 10 parsa, let's say it's 10 miles or 10 kilometers, probably closer to kilometers. Let us just say 10 kilometers. You would pay 1 zuz for that distance. If you wanted to go 11, just a little more, you have to pay 2, double. Now, why should you pay double? It doesn't make sense logically to pay double for just an extra kilometer. The answer is because what they're accustomed to, these donkeys, was the 10 kilometers, the 10 parsas. To go above and beyond that was beyond their natural capability. And for that, you had to pay the extra price. That's it. The extra price. Now, I'd like to go through this metaphor for a moment, because it's a beautiful metaphor and its details. A Torah metaphor comes from, a Torah analogy comes from the analog. In other words, what it's analogous to. So, let's understand over here. Talking about now a chamor, a donkey, which in Hebrew, chamor also means chomer, materiality. Right? Materiality. So, you want to go take the materiality to its capability, 10, like the 10 spheres, the 10 divine attributes. That is the capacity. But that materiality you need to deal with, as the Baal Shem Tov says, the material nature of our being. You either have to transform it or bend it. So here it's being bent. Transformed is by the righteous. Here it's being bent. The donkey is being kind of bent beyond its natural capacity, right? So the materiality of the individual is being bent beyond their natural capacity. 10 is the 10 divine attributes, the 10 powers. So you go above and beyond to 11. 11 is, so to speak, the number beyond 10 that is a transcendence of the soul's capacity, right? The soul's capacity, and that is the concept over here. And that's also the concept of 100. 100, 10 times 10, 10 powers of the soul, 10 times. That's the nature of the soul. Go 101, that's already above and beyond. So just some hinted meanings to bring out the idea in a deeper way. So the point over here is very simple. Is that when you do the 101st way, just as the donkey goes the extra kilometer, right, it's an equivalent to all of the 100 before that, or the 10 before that. And therefore, this entitles the student to be called a servant of God, because they have gone above and beyond what is the normal, expected, you could say, expected from the students, expected from themselves, and they went above and beyond that. Now, how do you do that? How do you go above your natural capacity that you've been given? The only way, two ways the Alter Rebbe will bring out. One is that you use your mind to feed your heart. Since our nature, is based on our animal soul, right? To do things just naturally. If we contemplate the greatness of God, that which is transcendent, beyond us, that gives us a power then to transcend our nature, right? Overpower the animal soul. The Alter Rebbe calls this a avodah tama, a perfect service. What's perfect? Is that you strove above and beyond. So here, an interesting idea. The Beinoni is the idea of mastery over yourself. But here the Alter Rebbe is taking it to a new level. It's not merely mastery, because you can master yourself and really not engage because you don't have a battle in that area or in life in general, right? Your nature is always doing good. You never think a bad thought. So you don't struggle with negative thoughts. You don't waste time. Says, the Alter Rebbe says, that's not a servant of God because they're following their nature. So the Beinoni, to be a perfect service, avodah tama, has to struggle. Now, it could be all good things. So you learned 100 times. Now you learned 101. So you've joined me for Tanya how many times? Maybe that's your nature. Or maybe nature is just to be able to focus so long. But then, that's too much. That little bit that we go the extra, that's called service, perfect service, when it comes from the mind that understands the relationship to God, understands the idea of transcendence and the transcendent God that gives us the capacity to transcend ourselves and not to be limited to our nature. Another way, I guess you could give some kind of example for this from the Yetzer Hara. You'll see, the Yetzer Hara can also want to strive and go beyond your capacity. Like if you're playing a sport or you're competing in a sport, or you're going for the gold medal in the Olympics, if there's going to be at some point, right? You're going for the Olympics, gold medal. So you train in such a way that you're always striving to get stronger, better, and not happy with what you accomplished yesterday. Now, why is that not from the godly soul? Is because it's all self-directed. It's all about you. It's about you becoming greater. So it's actually feeding your ego, not humbling yourself when you do that. By its nature, you have to work on yourself to become humble, because the achievement of greatness, the achievement of exceeding above and beyond what you naturally are capable of doing of yesterday, and now you exceed that, is naturally going to bring, a sense of self-fulfillment, a sense of self-gratification. And that's all the Yetzer Hara. But that's a metaphor for us to understand that in serving God is that when we are able to just do one more, whatever it is, a little bit more, whether it's in charity and tzedakah, we're giving a little more than we're comfortable. Whether it's in learning Tanya, I'm giving a little more effort in focusing and learning. I'm spending a little more time engaged in the mitzvah prayer or whatever it is, going above and beyond. And then when we do it with our minds, having an awareness of transcendence of God that allows then to bring into us that transcendence, that's a perfect service. Now, there's another way the Alter Rebbe says that we can also arouse in us the hidden love that we have for God, and therefore to take control over the left ventricle of the heart where the animal soul resides and wants just to go on easy street, do what's natural, what is comfortable, what is pleasurable. This too is called serving God, but it's imperfect because it's only based on what naturally you have as a hidden love of God, rather than something that you've produced with your own deep appreciation and understanding of the greatness of God, transcendence. Now, on the other hand, though, if there is no battle to be waged, if it just comes so easy, right? by your natural diligence to study, and you do it within those limits, within that comfort zone, then that's not a service. Now, that doesn't mean you didn't do good. You studied Torah, you gave tzedakah, you visited the sick. But if there was a struggle in some area with that we went above and beyond, that's what we're talking about. So I have a metaphor that I use to bring this idea out to conclude chapter 15, and that is an infinite ladder. Infinite ladder. And everybody is on a different step, a different rung on this ladder. And that doesn't matter. Because if you are a very, engaged in your divine service and you're on a higher level as opposed to someone who's not so engaged, right? Relatively speaking. But this person is going down. This person is going up. So who's better? Now, this person might be still eons beyond in fulfillment of the divine will, but they're not serving. They're going down. This one's going up. So the bottom line is, all that counts is which direction are we going in? Are we going up the ladder? You can't stand still on the ladder. Standing still is ipso facto, is in effect really going down. It's really going down. So if we look at our day, and where did I struggle to go up the ladder? Not what did I achieve, because maybe I achieved wonderful things, but maybe I achieved them just in my comfort zone. So it's not about the achievement. It's whether I am striving. Am I moving upwards? This is a new definition of upwardly mobile. Right? That's what we're talking about. Which, by the way, this metaphor of the ladder is also a beautiful idea that brings out that you can't really judge another person because, do I know who's going up, who's going down? Maybe I know with myself, but do I know with another? Relative to me, so you can't really judge another as a result. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't matter where we are on that ladder. Divine Providence has brought us to where we're at in order to climb, in order to ascend, in order that we can get beyond our comfort zone and then truly to serve God. Whether it's going to be a perfect service or imperfect service, the Alter brings both. Don't look for perfection. Just look for be above and beyond. All right, folks. Beautiful. And now to go above and beyond. How are we going to go above and beyond? One is, I know now that. What do we learn from today's class that I know now? Not from another class, but from today's class. What do you know? Please share that. So the fact that you'll share that for those who haven't till now is going beyond your comfort zone. And then for others, to go above and beyond their comfort zone, it might be to come on camera. Now you need to set your settings. We go to settings, Facebook, and you have to put on your camera and your microphone. Right, it has to be green. Otherwise, that's, if it's not on, then you won't be able to get on. So, folks, who is ready to share? Who is ready to rise above their comfort zone? This is it. This is the chance. This is really the chance that we can rise above and we could share on screen with others. In the meantime, John says, John says that I know now that the war with my Yetzer Sahara, evil inclination, continues, and the more effort is needed to exceed my nature, to bring the Aleph into the strength of my divine soul, reach truly should exceed grasp. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Erica says, now I know now that I need to force myself to go beyond the norm in order to actually be serving. Excellent. Lisa says, I know now that it doesn't matter where you are on the ladder as long as you're going up is more is achieved outside your comfort zone. Excellent. Eugenia says, I know now that going beyond my nature at the service of Hashem, overcoming the battle to get out of the comfort zone is called a perfect service. Excellent. Linda, I know now that I need not just reach for the higher rung on the ladder, but I need to take a significant action to get there. All right, great. Rise above the comfort zone. All right. Oh, Tim says I can bring you on. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Thank you. Greg, I know now that you can't stand still in the ladder. It's really going down, right? And I know that I can do something good that comes naturally to me. I do not have an awareness of the transcendence of God. I need to go above and beyond my comfort zone, my natural capacity to achieve this, to be a servant of God. Excellent. Okay. Okay, Tim. Tim, it doesn't say here that I could add you, so that must mean something is with your settings that's not allowing that. I don't know what, but so it states. Anybody else? Margaret Lozata? Okay, thank you. Simcha, thank you. So, again, check Eugenia. Can we try you? Make sure your settings that you have in settings, you go to Facebook, and then you have to go in Facebook. I don't recall where. Second. So, in settings, you go to Facebook, right? Here's Facebook. Oh, okay. So in Facebook, you have to make sure that your microphone and camera are on. Okay. Let's see if this is going to work. We're trying. It works from smartphones for sure. I'm not sure if it works from laptops. Boy, what's going on over here? Oh, doesn't look like it worked. Hey. try. I'm not certain on the iPad. Maybe it does. I'm not certain though. And I think you might have to turn your phone sideways, perhaps. I don't know if that prevents or what. I'm not certain. Okay. Sarah is trying. We're trying to add her. Let's see what happens here. No answer. There was no answer from Sarah. Yeah, let's try again. You have to, I think, put your phone like this. I guess because that way you get two people side by side. Maybe. I don't know. But that's what has been suggested. So try that, Eugenia. Not looking great. I pressed to try to add. Oh, no. Didn't work. Oh, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to maybe wait. Try one more time for Sarah. No luck. Okay, folks, we're gonna keep on trying. I want to thank you all. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day, a good Erev Shabbos, and a wonderful Shabbos.